Hello, Namaste, and Hare Krishna. I am Namita Purohit, and I welcome you to the latest episode of the Lead with Ease podcast. Today, we're going to talk about Elon Musk's bold leadership brand, his bold, fearless leadership playbook, and what leaders like yourself can learn from it as you lead through challenges and you lead through change. This Lead with Ease podcast is sponsored by the Lead with Ease Academy, which is created by me and my team of coaches, where we help you boost your leadership, take charge of yourself and your leadership with confidence, and apply proven strategies to build your organization and your team. And you learn how to master your leadership with a really simple three-step signature pro model developed by me. And I invite you to consider joining it. You can see the link in the description below. And I'd also request you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the notifications if you are looking to stay connected and to get all types of content around building your leadership brand, your executive presence, of studies of world leaders and different lessons we can get from them, and also different topics because I'm a life and a leadership coach. So I also talk about life coaching around emotions, around wellness, around relationships, and I also specialize in helping people recover from toxic narcissistic abuse. So yes, if you're looking for regular content on leadership and regular content on all of these things based on Eastern wisdom and Western psychology, then I invite you to subscribe to my channel and make sure you click and turn the notifications on so that you're notified every time the next video is on. Yes, and let's talk about Elon Musk. So today's topic, as I said, is Elon Musk's bold and fearless leadership playbook, and how you can develop that playbook as a leader and how you can become as successful as him. As of today, December 2024, his net worth has risen after the U.S. elections, and it's come to $349 billion. He's the richest man on the planet and worth learning from. Even if you may not like him, but there's a lot of things that you could learn from him. He's the richest man on the planet, and something is working there, and let's see what that is. So one of the things that I really came, and I've started following him lately, and I'm following him a lot more as I was, looking at the elections, the U.S. elections 2024, and I was also doing a series on debriefing those elections based on, from a leadership standpoint, and you can access videos to that playlist in the link below. And as I was studying that, and as I was seeing him, and doing certain things, I got more and more intrigued about him and started studying him a little bit more. And there were some various lessons that stood out for me as a person and stood out for that I could share with all of you in supporting your leadership growth journey. So one of them that really stood out for me is that this man is fearless. He's absolutely fearless. He's doesn't care about what's thrown on him, but he has that self-confidence, and he's so fearless that he knows that he can deal with it. And he has unlimited resilience and the power to keep bouncing back. You would think, oh, he's a billionaire, what issues would he have? No. All kinds of challenges have been thrown to him. He was threatened by the Biden government, to shut down his companies, that his companies would come under government control, that he would lose everything, he would be deported back, his citizenship would be stripped away. He didn't receive any support from the California governor Gavin. In spite of Tesla being such a huge company in California, he was given such a hard time in California that he started moving operations to Texas. He was not recognized by the government, not invited for any discussions on electric vehicles, on solar energy and things like that, in spite of him being the top, running the top companies in each of these fields. He's received death threats, he's received regulation threats, he's received shut him down threats, kill him threats. And like I was listening to one of the Twitter spaces organized just as counting was underway during the U.S. Elections 2024 in November. And I was listening to different people talk about it, and then his mother's, like somebody said that, oh, your mother is very concerned. May Musk is very concerned, and she's become more and more vocal about the policies of the previous government and also of supporting you. And she's like really riled up. And he's like, yeah, of course she's my mother. And then May Musk happens to enter that Twitter Spaces, and she goes like, Elon, did you hear they're threatening to kill you in New York, and they're threatening to deplatform you, and they're threatening to shut down Twitter and things like that. He's like, yeah, one of many. I get death threats, so many in a day. And he's just so bold that he doesn't care. Another lesser leader would probably bow down to that pressure, as we've seen in history with a lot of different kings who have bowed down to a lot of invaders, because they're fearful, they don't have that self-confidence, they don't believe that they could win. But here is a man who does what he wants, and he's fearless. I was chatting about this in the library with someone recently, and then they said that, oh, he can be fearless because he has money. And I said, no, he has money because he's fearless. It works the other way. And he has this unlimited power to bounce back. Like, as he's getting pushed away, he buys Twitter, and at an exorbitant price, right? And you would think that he's stupid and he's just doing that for free speech, and why is he spending so much money? But no, that one move has changed the course of America, changed the course of the elections of 2024. And it also gave him a mouthpiece. Not that he used it that way, but it was enough to have such a huge base of followers on Twitter, own a social media company. You'd see a lot of these billionaires would own newspapers and things like that, a lot of news channels, etc. And that's a way to build some kind of hedge, some kind of moat. If they're threatened too much by the government, that, hey, I have a mouthpiece, I'm the one holding the mic right now. And he does that with Twitter, and he also frees free speech. And by doing all of that, he's also now in the close circle of President Trump. He's in charge of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, along with Vivek Ramaswamy. And now he's being called on by world leaders to negotiate peace. One of the first things they did after the elections was to talk to Zelensky in Ukraine, and he was, on the call. That's what's been said. And as of today, I also heard that Israel is trying to reach out to him to help, get strategy around, around dealing with the war and things like that. So this man is fearless with unlimited resilience and the power to keep bouncing back. And he bounces back with very bold moves, and his failures are also very public. It's you're under a lot of pressure. Imagine you're on stage all the time, your companies are on stage all the time, all your experiments are on stage all the time, all your failures are on stage, and they're out in the open. But he still continues doing those bold moves, in spite of public failures. And I was watching one of his videos from maybe like many years ago, and where he's talking about, like, somebody said, oh, your SpaceX, they failed again. And he's like, how does that hit you? How does that affect you? And he's like, yeah, it failed, and I acknowledge it, but we'll try harder next time. And it was really coming from a place of humility, that I'm going to learn from what has failed, and we're going to try better next time, and we're going to try to be successful. So this is not coming by some magic. All his power, all his wealth, all his successes have not happened by magic. They've come by an iterative process. They've come by learning. They've come by doing different things. And of course, he's very super intelligent in so many ways. SpaceX faced near bankruptcy, and after 3 failed Falcon, as you can see here, Falcon 1 launches. And the successful 4th launch, and combined with the NASA contract, gave it that stability and financial boost it needed. And similarly, Tesla Model 3 went through a production hell, and he had to solve it. And then after he solved it, Tesla is like one of the most sought after electric vehicles in the world. And this image that you see here, it's like a lot of us saw that, right? This is the Starship super energy booster, right? That went up, launched the Starship, and is now coming back into position with such precision. And this is something that we've seen in science fiction movies. We've seen it in cartoons about, like, wow. And this is a 71-meter booster, tall. It's like 23 stories. And it, like, very nicely launches the Starship and comes back and enters back into position. Amazing precision. Just by seeing that and the level of engineering that has gone into it can make anyone a big fan of Elon Musk and want to follow him, and what he's doing right. Now, another thing that he does is he dreams big. without being bogged down by challenges and the how-tos, right? A lot of us dream, but then before we start executing on it, we're thinking about, like, oh, okay, if I do this, then there'll be this problem, and there'll be this challenge and that challenge, and maybe I shouldn't do this, and how will I execute this? Where will I get the funding? Where will this happen, etc. But bold leaders like Elon Musk are not thinking about the how-to. They're not thinking about whether or not it will happen, whether or not they'll be successful. They're like, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to make it happen. And you can see that, like, none of his companies are run of the mill stuff. None of them. He's got he's got XAI, he's got Neuralink, which is like putting the chip in the brain so that people can, especially right now, it's helping so many people, disabled people, get normal function again in their body. There's Tesla, state of the art car, unimaginable, mind blowing, very beautiful, gives you such a different experience sitting in it. The SpaceX, which I just talked about that. The Starlink internet through satellites, and now he's competing a completely different way of doing things. He did PayPal earlier, OpenAI, and then he came out of it because of values and ethics, and he felt that it wasn't right, the direction in which it was going. And now you can see that it was a nonprofit all along, and now that it's become popular, they're now becoming a for-profit, and Sam Altman is going against his own word. And then there was Zip2. There's a boring company building tunnels. I think he already built one in Las Vegas, and some say he's still making $75 million a year from that. But it's just big, different thinking to solve the different problems of the world. And he's leading from the front. He's unafraid to be singled out. He knew that Trump should win the election because that's what's good for America, that's what's good for the industry, and that's what's good for all his companies. And he's not just like giving a donation of $250 million to those PACs, but he's actually out there, and he's out there on the ground doing the groundwork to make sure Pennsylvania was secure, right? And he led all the way, right? A lot of tech company leaders were fearful of coming out in the open and supporting Donald Trump, even if when they were tired of all that wokeism and left nonsense coming from the Democrats. It wasn't helping them in building their companies, but they were not too scared to do that. But Elon, fearless, leading from the front, unafraid to be singled out, and just goes out and does it. The next is he exudes a certainty. Because of all of these different traits that I've talked about, and he exudes a certainty that he will get it done. And that's because of him repeatedly rising up again and again in spite of past failures, and making sure his projects are successful by standing up again and again. By him, the way he bought X, the way he's standing up, in supporting Donald Trump, and things like that. And he's had multiple companies and pioneers in solving hard problems. And he exudes a certainty even through those failures. Like, you see a failed launch, and if you see what he tweets around that, or if you see an interview around that, he's still exuding a certainty that, yes, I'm going to make it happen, right? No matter what the external circumstances are, I am going to make it happen. No matter what my internal circumstances are, I am going to make it happen. And that certainty is what makes him win. And that certainty is what makes him a great leader. It makes what people want to follow him, and people want to invest in him, right? And he's great at everything he does. All of these different companies, whether he's the founder or the co-founder, he knows how to hire the right people. He knows exactly what to do, and he's great at everything he does. And he approaches everything through first principles thinking. And I was once listening to one of his interviews on that, and he was talking about that. Say in production lines, etc. And there are cars that are being produced in a certain way and designed in a certain way, and there's a certain way in which the whole production line works. And he's like, but I want to go back to the first principles. I don't want to go to what status quo says. I want to go back to the first principles and see that, okay, if I make this metal pass in this way, how would the molecules be arranged in that process? And how can I make this whole system more efficient? So he's not following set patterns. He's going back to the first principles, going down to the molecular level, and thinking about how it can be done better. Now, there's a strong, authentic leadership brand as well. He's a fun leader. He enjoys himself, and he makes the most fun memes. He's just up like and like the way he comments on certain posts on Twitter, how he says things directly to people, the way it is, fearlessly. He has a very strong, authentic leadership brand. A very bold guy who speaks his mind, has his own unique leadership brand, and he's a meme king. And now Doji is actually, can you believe it? Like it was started out as a meme, and he would put all these memes with the dog, and now Doji is the Department of Government Efficiency, and is actually a department in the government that he and Vivek Ramaswamy are going to work together on and eradicate any kind of inefficiencies, any kind of unnecessary wastage of taxpayers' money, and bring things back. So, he has this very authentic leadership brand that makes one follow him. And if you look carefully, a lot of this comes from very strong inner core in the leader, right? It's not about the funding. It's not about the who, knowing the who's and who's and things like that. No, he's gone through massive failures. All of this is coming from a very strong inner core of being able to lead himself through all of these different challenges. And that self leadership is his playbook. And if you are looking to emulate Elon Musk's bold leadership, all of these different things that you have learned today, and if you're looking to incorporate these things in your life, I'd love to share this free bold leadership journal prompts with you, right? So if you want to build a bold leadership, then download my free guide to, that's like journal prompts, 8 journal prompts to help you build a very bold leadership brand, where you can lead boldly, inspire change, and strengthen your inner core with not 9, but 8 powerful prompts. Now, as you go through these different points that I've shared, I'd love to hear from you in the comments about which one is resonating with you. Which one do you feel like you really want to follow in your life? And which one you're already following in your life, or there are others that you're very inspired by Elon Musk, and I'd love to learn from you, and I'd love for you to share that in the comments. So please, I'm watching, and let me know in the comments. I'd love for invite you to join those leaders, those directors, VPs, and CEOs who are looking to boost their leadership and take it to the next level and develop this very strong inner core as a leader and lead with the self in a very strong, authentic, bold way. I invite you to join the Lead with Ease Academy, where you get access to courses, introspective exercise, coaching, and community of like-minded leaders where you can rub ideas, you can learn so many different things from each other just by observing how everyone carries themselves and does their own leadership brand. It's a wonderful program. It's a membership where you get all of these things, and I'd love for you to be inside and give me a chance to serve you. And I do post regular content on leadership. I do post regular content on life, relationships, emotions, recovery from toxic relationships, and a lot more based on Eastern wisdom and Western psychology. I'd love to serve many more people like yourself. So the best way for me to reach you is and to be able to serve you in your goals and in your growth is through this YouTube channel. And I invite you to subscribe and turn on the notifications of my channel so that you're notified of every new video that comes up in service to you becoming reaching your highest potential. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you until next week. There are some related video links that you can see in the description below. Also, details of my Lead with Ease program are there, and also related videos that are connected to this, and also the link to the Lead with Ease podcast playlist and the playlist which was connected to the US elections debrief from a leadership standpoint. There are like 4 very important videos out there, and I'd love for you to have them, and I'd love for you to take advantage.